Good morning on this Sunday. You are looking over downtown Atlanta right now. We have a lot to talk about in the weather department. I'm Megan Packer. Thanks for checking in with us today. We will get to First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi coming up in just a few moments, talking about not only today's weather, but also looking ahead to tomorrow. As a lot of people head back to school and work, you will want to hear her forecast. A quick update, though, on some of the day's top stories, including breaking news we are on top of from overnight. This is in Southwest Atlanta, where a house party ended up taking a violent turn when two people were shot. Police tell us two 19-year-old women were shot during a fight. It happened around 2 a.m. today on Lakewood Avenue near Arthur B. Langford Parkway. Both victims are okay. They are expected to survive. At last check this morning, police had not arrested anybody for that shooting. They did arrest two people out there who showed up and started fighting in front of police officers. There are new developments 7 years after a 19-year-old went missing in Newton County. Two people are now facing charges connected to the case surrounding Morgan Bauer. Porterdale police in Newton County announced Jonathan Alexander was arrested out in Los Angeles and Caitlin Goebel was arrested in Peoria, Illinois. Alexander is charged with murder and aggravated assault. Both of the suspects are charged with concealing a death and tampering with evidence. We are working to get their booking photos and to learn more about this possible connection. But late last month, the FBI and GBI served a search warrant at a Porterdale home that is near where Bauer's phone was last detected. They have not shared what they have found, but again, a case 7 years old now with these two major developments of two people facing charges. Just a heads up to people who are out and about in the North Metro area. Police in two different jurisdictions are looking for people who they say attacked women who have been out for jogs or just walking. Johns Creek specifically asking people to check their security cameras this morning. There was a woman who was jogging in the Doublegate neighborhood around 10:30 Friday morning when a man came up and inappropriately touched her. That woman chased him up to the car he was in, described as a gray SUV with what appeared to be a temporary tag. That man got away. So again, if you are in the Doublegate neighborhood of Johns Creek, you've got a Ring security video camera or any other kind of surveillance camera, police want to hear from you. A few days before that, in Roswell, there was a woman who police say was sexually assaulted when she was out on a walking trail. She was pulled into the woods by a man who was in dark clothing, a surgical mask. He claimed that he had a gun on him. At last check from police in Roswell, they say that they were talking to a person of interest, and we are working to get an update from them about that case there in Roswell. So just another reminder to be alert when you are out and about for sure. Something else we are watching is what's happening near the courthouse in downtown Atlanta in Fulton County. The streets all around the Fulton County Courthouse will close tomorrow. That could mean that former President Donald Trump could face a possible fourth indictment from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's investigation into election meddling in the 2020 presidential election. So many eyes across the nation and the political world on Fulton County and whether this possible indictment could be coming here. The DA has hinted that if it happens, it could happen within the next couple of weeks. If you are looking for something to do today, how about going to check out the pros, the volleyball pros? They are on the sand in Atlantic Station as we speak. The AVP Gold Series Atlanta Open is happening today. The semifinals are underway and the finals are at noon. So hopefully they can get it in before any weather rolls into Atlanta. It's been pretty nice in the city right now, but those of you in Northwest Georgia, we know that you've already seen the rain and the storms this morning. So let's take a look again in downtown Atlanta as we bring in First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. Really busy day for you and the weather team. Not only today, Courtney, but looking ahead to tomorrow. Tell us what the latest is.
Yeah, so we have a couple of changes to talk about. Of course, if you were with us this morning, then you know that we do have a First Alert weather day for tomorrow, which essentially means that the weather is going to, at least we think the weather is going to significantly impact your day. That could lead to damage of property if we have trees down, which is definitely a possibility tomorrow. That could also lead to power outages. So that's why we wanted to just give you that early heads up that we think the weather is going to have a significant impact on your day tomorrow. But today we have a first alert because we do think that the weather is going to essentially potentially be a nuisance to you as we head through the afternoon, especially. However, as Megan said, some of us have already experienced some stronger storms this morning, below severe limits, but still on the strong side. So today, here's a look at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for the area. A level 2 of 5 is now extended into most of the area early this morning. We were mainly looking from Atlanta northwest, so places like Cherokee, Bartow, Gilmer, Gordon County, Fannin County, Floyd County. That's where we were looking. But now that's extended pretty much into all of the area. And what this means is essentially that our severe threat, the chance for severe storms, is a little higher. Not necessarily that our threats have changed, but we're not looking at mainly an isolated threat is possible, an isolated severe storm is possible. This is more that isolated severe storms will be likely. So we'll be watching for maybe a handful of severe thunderstorms this afternoon as storms bubble up through the heat of the day. But we could have a stronger storm this morning, and I'll take you to first alert radar in just a second. Today, gusty wind, heavy rain, and frequent lightning will be the threats with any storms. Tomorrow, we turn things up a notch. So the first alert weather day, again, we think that the weather will have a significant impact on your day. A damaging wind, maybe some small hail, and we could have an isolated tornado or two as well, especially in far north Georgia up in the mountains. That is where we'll be looking very carefully for that chance for an isolated tornado. Anyone in that orange shaded area, I think that's where your threat for severe weather is obviously higher. You have the chance that scattered severe storms are more likely, but nonetheless, all of the area in either a level 2 or level 3. So tomorrow we will be watching for essentially a pattern that we've been in for the past few weeks. We have a line of storms that will roll in potentially in the morning, and then a front is actually going to start to approach the area, and that's going to kind of heighten our organization of storms to create that heightened risk for severe weather. So again, all of the area tomorrow, it's going to be stormy on and off through the day, but especially the afternoon and evening when we have that fuel from the heat of the day. Tomorrow we'll probably head into the low 90s again. That's when I think we'll have the best chance for those severe storms to really thrive, will be the afternoon. I did zoom in to parts of Fulton and DeKalb County because it is your first day back to school. So notice Fulton County, a good handful, places like Roswell, Alpharetta, of course, downtown Atlanta. So a lot of our counties headed back tomorrow are going to be impacted by this weather and could potentially have that heightened threat for severe storms tomorrow. So something we are going to be watching carefully. Of course, that's going to lead to a lot of decisions when it comes to the commute home from school. So just to kind of give you a quick overview, I guess is the best way to put it, for what exactly is a first alert weather day. I know I kind of touched on it on the top, but this is just for you to see rather than to hear. It's essentially a heads up, an early warning for a significant weather event. So we've had these in the past where we have these clusters of storms move in from Tennessee, and they just all severe warn, creating those damaging straight line winds that lead to downed trees and power lines. So we will have the potential for that tomorrow. We call those things mesoscale convective systems. That's a fancy word for a line of storms. It's kind of small scale, but they produce big time damage. And so we'll be watching for that tomorrow. We'll also watch for maybe, again, an isolated tornado or two tomorrow afternoon primarily. So severe weather will be likely, strong wind, power outages, and of course that could definitely lead to travel delays for you. So it's more than just a nuisance. That can really rearrange your whole process of your Monday. So here's a look at satellite and radar, first alert radar. We do have some storms moving in to parts of Gilmer County, Gordon County. Looks like moving out of Fannin County towards Towns and Union County. We have another batch of storms moving out of Chattooga and Floyd County. It looks like Cherokee County getting in on some of this rain. By the way, this is just past 10 a.m. that we are recording this, so if you happen to be watching it later, this is not going to be in effect, or this is not going to be the same, but nonetheless, these storms will continue to move off to the east and stay north of Atlanta, but our northern communities could get some rain for the morning hours. Now, I do want to kind of give a little side note here. The models really struggle with these kinds of systems that are going to impact our forecast today and especially tomorrow morning before our physical cold front moves closer to the area. So models have been struggling with what's going on, which just makes it ultimately harder to forecast. But either way, as we head into the afternoon hours today, the afternoon and evening, expect storms to become more widely scattered. So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, I live in downtown Atlanta, I don't need to worry about storms at 6:30. Well, I don't necessarily think that's the case because this looks completely different than what I showed at 7 o'clock this morning. So the models are going to completely change. What I will say is just prepare for more widely scattered storms through the afternoon and evening because we're going to have the fuel for storms to fire on up just simply because of the heat of the day. But we'll also have a trough, which is essentially just a kink in the atmosphere. It's a little extra lift that will help create that more organized threat for severe storms. But those are really hard to pinpoint exactly where they're going to go. So the evening looks to be very stormy. In fact, this latest model run kind of shifted everything several hours later. But either way, the ingredients for severe weather will diminish after sunset. Still could have some storms around, but I think once we get past sunset, we'll kind of be able to let our guard down. But you'll still definitely have the chance to hear a few rumbles of thunder later in the evening. Now, tomorrow morning, here's 6:30. This looks a lot different as well. So some new information coming in for you. This model in particular updates every hour, so we'll get something new every other hour or so. And so as we head into tomorrow morning, a few scattered storms will be possible in downtown Atlanta. So for everyone headed to school in Fulton and DeKalb tomorrow morning, some showers could be possible, maybe a few rumbles of thunder as well. Now again, both today and tomorrow, the afternoon will carry the best chance for severe weather. Here's 3 o'clock. So if this model plays out, if this is right, then your commute home from school should be fairly untouched. It'll be that commute home from work tomorrow and through the later evening where storms will become more likely. Now, the previous model we were looking at showed a line of storms coming in between around 7 and 9 a.m. and then a second between around 1 and 6 p.m., which was impacting that commute from school for communities north of Atlanta and then impacting the drive for a lot of you in Metro Atlanta. So that is definitely still a possibility. We're going to be watching as the progression of these models go through the day. But again, expect that chance for more widely scattered storms as we head through the evening hours tomorrow with that chance for severe weather that could definitely cause some localized flooding in the streets. We've seen that in the past when we get that heavy rain. We've seen our streets flood here, and then also the potential for maybe some downed trees and power lines tomorrow. And then we will start to kind of dwindle that threat again through the overnight hours. So DeKalb County, it's back to school for you tomorrow. A few storms will be possible for the morning, and then it looks like through your lunch hour, we should be mostly dry. This is, again, right now, this is subject to change. And then it looks like the afternoon for now should be hot and mainly dry for all of you headed back to school in DeKalb County tomorrow. Our rain chances stay elevated through the week, at least a 30 to 40% coverage, so we don't have a completely dry day ahead of us. And that is going to lead to a lot of rain through Friday. Take a look at this. We're thinking anywhere from an inch to maybe upwards of 3 inches of rain through Friday. Some much needed rain. We definitely lacked in the rainfall department in July, but we will watch for maybe some localized flooding through the week, just as storms, if they train over a particular area, if they favor a particular area, that could definitely lead to maybe some isolated flash flooding threats through the end of the week. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have about a 50% coverage of storms today. A few could be strong to severe. That first alert weather day tomorrow. So we can't stress enough, it is a great day to have our First Alert weather app. You can scan the QR code in the top of your screen. Make sure to go to your settings and turn on notifications. It will let you know as storms are coming into your area, if heavy rain is rolling your way. That'll be really important, not only today as you're kind of trying to get ready for the work and school week ahead, but tomorrow for parents, if you're trying to plan picking up the kids from school, maybe picking them up from after school activities, for administrators, for you, for trying to plan how the day goes, that'll be a great app for you to have. Again, scattered severe storms will be fairly likely tomorrow, and then we'll stay unsettled through the week. That's probably the best way to put it, with low 90s. So we'll stay seasonable at least, but we'll have the chance for afternoon storms just about every day. But tomorrow is the day that our weather team will have all eyes on. 60% coverage of rain, probably could up that to 70, but nonetheless, the big story is going to be the chance for scattered severe storms. We'll have the potential for multiple rounds of storms tomorrow that could essentially spark severe for a lot of the area. But I think our biggest watch will be northeast of the city, where we could have an isolated tornado or two. So from Atlanta off to the northeast, up into the mountains, we'll be watching you for maybe an isolated tornado tomorrow. So just something to keep in mind as we go through this very stormy stretch of days today and tomorrow, and then at least a slightly drier trend as we go through most of your work and school week. But definitely a week to pay attention to the weather and to have the umbrella handy as the kids head to school and as you make your way back to work for another week. All right, everyone. We will keep you posted both here on Atlanta News First Plus, our First Alert weather app. I'm actually going to go send another app push. Once I'm done with this, I'll get another app push sent out so we can keep you updated. We'll be updating our web story on atlantanewsfirst.com, which you can also get in the app throughout the day. First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin will be in later to have the latest model data for you to get you through the start of the week and get you ready for just a pretty messy day that's on the way for Monday, to put it lightly. So we'll be watching that for you. Got you covered on all platforms here on Atlanta News First. All right, I hope you make it a wonderful Sunday, and we'll catch you here a little later as we continue to update you on the forecast. And stay safe, stay weather aware the next couple days, and we'll catch you next time.